Welcome to PDGA coverage of the 2022 United States Women's Disc Golf Championships from Madison, Wisconsin. Presented by Innova Disc Golf, as well as our friends at Gatekeeper Media providing us with our graphics. It's Grant Zellner alongside Jennifer Allen, a member of this very card. Looking forward to your insights, Jen.
Yeah, we're starting off with the FPO Masters Division, 40 and up.
Lots of players to keep an eye on right there. We're going to get to see a few of them in action in just a few minutes.
My name is Natalie Holocoin. My PDGA number is 4455. Well, it's awesome, especially after the 2 years that we could not travel. So for me, it's very awesome to be here with all those women. I mean, 320 women. It's unbelievable. For me, it's awesome because in my country, we have more men. So you are always battling with the same women. And it's good to meet other people, to meet old friends, just awesome to play and see on which level you are. I think it's very probably that in the next 5 years, it could be the same event also in Europe.
My name is DeMar, PDGA number 25166. Well, first, it's such an honor because this is the largest women's event ever in the history with the most, I think, what do we have, 320 women. The pomp and the fanfare, how they make it look so professional and special for us, and they just take care of us so well, it's amazing. I mean, this is way different than I've ever experienced because I've been playing since 2004, and I mean, I finished top 10 at Worlds and got cut from the semifinals in 2008 because we just didn't have enough women in FPO.
My name is Serenity Madison. My PDGA number is 26720. It's a disc golf tournament only for women, and it's amazing. It's unprecedented. It's the biggest event of all time for women in disc golf so far, but I do believe the numbers are going to continue to rise. I won this event in the AM40 division last year in my home state of California, and so I entered the pro division after winning AM Worlds a couple months later, and so I'm here to see how I do in the professional division. Competing obviously has been where I'm supposed to be.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Allen, PDGA number 15354. Fun fact, this is my second US Women's. My first was last year. And so all of these years I played over 22 years of disc golf, and this is just my second US Women's. So I'm very excited to be here. It is incredible. I did start in '99 when kind of this event started, but just now being able to get here consistently and see the growth of the sport is incredible. To be on golf courses, an entire huge tournament of over 300 competitors, and every one of them's a woman, is pretty special.
Getting a look now at hole number 1 here at the Token Creek Disc Golf Course, a par 3, 330 feet.
Yeah, we started the day with a strong headwind. It was whipping pretty non-stop at us the entire round. This was a different wind than we had during practice days, so it was an interesting start to the morning.
That big tree sitting about 245 feet from the tee pad. Everybody playing around to the left or the right.
On the tee box, Miss Jennifer Allen.
Few nerves here, Jen?
No, this is a beautiful course. Great group of women. We were excited to get going, just trying to decide how much the wind was going to push our disc here.
Up and around about 50, 55 feet.
Miss Serenity Madison.
I've gotten to see Serenity play on several occasions.
Yeah, we're all trying to, since that headwind's coming at us, try to use it to get a little extra forward progress before it pushes around that tree. You can go left or right, but with the headwind, we all try to go around the right side.
Holloköi.
Here's Natalie. Look at that wind just whipping at this particular moment. It died down later in the day, but
Yeah, it stayed strong our entire round. You get back in the trees, and it was very swirly. Couldn't tell which way it was going, but we could always hear it. Natalie gets a great flight all the way around, just catches that front corner. We're all in that circle 2 area.
40, lead hard. With Sarah DeMar.
I was able to play Masters Worlds with Sarah last year. She's a fun character to play with. Always happy, always cheering on her card mates.
everybody taking basically the same route here on hole number 1, leaving themselves in that shadow just around that 80 to 100 foot range.
Yeah, it was tough to get to the basket with that wind. We had to stable up, and those aren't going to go quite as far.
Serenity, in fact, from about 100. And now Sarah.
And we're all just trying to lay up, not really have to have too long of a putt in the wind on the first hole.
There's Natalie feeling things out.
Just keeping that disc low exactly where she needed to put it. And I follow suit.
Any thought at all at running that?
Oh, no, absolutely
the first
not.
hole of 72 holes to go.
Not with that wind. It looks like it doesn't really look that strong. The tree really isn't blowing behind there, but it was a nice strong wind. This is really open first hole basket. Very exposed.
It is. There are a couple of interesting holes here that are far more exposed than others here at Token Creek.
So we're all just going to tap in our pars here.
Everybody even par as we wander toward hole number 2.
I can't believe it.
You're up next.
Stay turning. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Ooh! Wow.
Alan, inbounds.
That's exactly.
Unbelievable.
Still my favorite commercial that was made last year.
I know the guy who wrote that. Hole number 2, a 530-foot par 4. You can get some idea of this hole. Not really enough to call it a dog leg, but it definitely bends back toward the left. That first tall tree you're going to see here about 350 feet off the tee.
Yeah, we're just trying to punch it past that first little section, trying to keep it in the short grass. We're all going to have an approach at this, so you want the most open approach we can get.
Jennifer, you're up first.
Yeah, I got a big crosswind here, so going stable, just trying to throw it straight and let the wind kind of keep that straight flight.
Easily one of the longest drives I saw on this hole all day.
Oh, good. I had a little longer one today.
No out of bounds to speak of, by the way, on most of the holes here at Token Creek, but we'll let you know where that changes as Serenity.
Yeah, a nice safe play right in the middle. That's all we're wanting. You don't want to bite off too much.
And here's Natalie.
Yeah, it was fun playing this course. The OBs that were there are very appropriate to guard the other holes. Allows the player just to play and throw the shots that they want to throw without having to worry about any extra penalties. So that was, I think we all enjoyed this course. Sarah gets a good flight out there right in the middle.
Everybody nice and safe. Looking at here, at least 260, 280, maybe even 300.
Yeah, it turned a little more than she wanted to. It probably kind of got a little bit of wind exposure and kind of pushed it to the right further than she anticipated. Sarah's punching it,
Yeah.
getting it up there.
Yeah, throwing it as hard as she can without giving it too much height. Circle's edge. Here's Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie released that just a little bit earlier. She's still going to have a look for a putt. We're on circle 2. We just want to get up there and try to stay out of the rough as much as possible. There are a few little things that can get you in the rough, but the fairways are mowed nicely. So as long as you keep your shot pretty clean, you can stay out of there. I unfortunately went that a little too high with that. That's the new Toro I'm trying to get used to, and I really love it, but it just cuts real quick, a lot quicker than my putters do. So
Here you are, circle 2 edge.
yeah, still trying to snag that birdie. This is a pretty decent par 4. A lot of the par 4s are a little soft, which is nice though. You can still save that par if you have one shot off the fairway. We're all just going to try to lay this up nice and close to tap in those pars again.
Sarah with the greatest opportunity here from a little outside of 40 feet off the koozie.
Yeah, it's nice to have those first couple holes, nothing too stressful, and get rolling, shake off any kind of tournament nerves you may start. This is a major. May not feel like it being all women, a little more relaxed vibes that way, but it is still a major, so some nerves are out there.
This grouping going off around 10 o'clock in the morning. Here in Madison, everybody's still even par through 2. Gonna battle the wind throughout the afternoon, or at least the morning into the afternoon. Hole number 3, 275 feet. This par 3, the basket tucked over here on the right side of the fairway behind not one but 2 trees that sort of jut out from the rest of the rough.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. This is probably the most forehand lefty dominant 2 courses, not only this one, but the other course that we play as well. A lot of turnover shots on these courses. So my Mako gets a lot of work this weekend. Trying to throw it out there and just let the disc do the work. It, again, kind of catches that wind, goes a little bit further than I wanted it to, but I'm going to have a look.
Yeah, got a lot out of that. Do you prefer to let the disc do the work, or do you like to feel yourself putting the disc on that anhyzer?
No, well, I personally always want to put it on the line and let it do what it's supposed to do. It's a lot easier to get the correct flight. As long as you know your disc and trust it, if you put it on the line, it usually does what it's supposed to do.
Here's Natalie.
And I think doing that allows you to hit your lines better instead of forcing something, in a little too early or hyzering out too soon. Couple little sneaky routes on the inside. They punch most of the way through. We're all going to honestly be around circle's edge. Even though they're in the rough there, they're still going to have a putt out at it.
Here you are, Jen, looking for that first birdie of the round. Boom.
It's a great group. Again, I'll probably say that 2 or 3 more times. Maybe it's a little something different with Masters. I enjoy playing Masters division because we're always cheering each other on, and we do it throughout the weekend, throughout the round. If there's a good putt or a good drive, we make sure that everyone knows it. Sarah gives that a good bid.
And Serenity just a little bit low. Everybody else still looking for that first birdie of the round. No foot faults here. No problem there for Natalie. We're all cleaning up our pars here on the 3rd here at Token Creek. So Jennifer, you take the first lead of the championship. Just 3 holes in.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe to these guys if you want to see this footage. Make sure you give them a follow and subscribe to their Patreon account.
Looking now at hole number 4, 321 feet, this par 4. Again, demands something of a left to right shot. Unless you want to try to get lucky through one of these gaps off to the right, you're going to want to go around the left.
Actually, I disagree.
You really? Did you
choose to
go straight down the middle?
Straight down the middle.
Okay. Cool.
Unfortunately, the wind now is a really strong kind of tailwind.
Yeah.
And you'll find that we all figure that out. I tried to warn them. I tried really hard. I threw this out there. This is kind of in between distance for me, but because of the wind, I did throw my T-bird, and the wind just like Velcro sucked it right down. So I told the girls, I don't know how much they listened, but the wind, again, you don't really see the trees. I don't feel like it's doing us fair justice. It was very strong wind, and it was steady. It wasn't gusty really at this point.
Right. Yeah, the card I watched earlier today, everybody went around the left. It might have been a wind condition situation. I'm not really sure what it was, but the first trees here, as you go up the middle, about 270 out. So you get some idea of what you need to beat in hopes of doing just what that did, skipping up and getting somewhere in that circle area. That is now Sarah.
Well, since we weren't filmed today, I'll give a little. Yeah, Sarah does exactly. Her disc sucks down just like mine did.
Yeah,
but
sure did.
I wish I would have thrown the shot I did today because I smashed the side of the basket. But
going up the middle again?
Going straight at it. Yeah, T-bird just hit the side of the basket. Gave it a pretty big bounce. I still had to do some work to get the birdie. But again, we're all just kind of playing smart, not being too aggressive. The odds of drilling an 80-foot putt in the wind are pretty slim. So we're just being smart still. There is a lot of golf. There's 4 rounds to go, so not putting too much pressure on ourselves here.
Natalie from just inside the circle.
Beautiful putt. She did express she had a little bit of nerves. Yep. This was, I think, her second tournament, I believe she said, of the year.
Wow.
So hasn't been playing as much over there. Traveling over, playing new areas. So she did have a little bit of the nerves. Couldn't tell, though. She started so strong.
Yeah, really, everybody's starting strong. Not a bogey on the card yet. You've got company. Hole number 5, 610 feet, this par 4. First challenge up is this bushy low tree here, about 170 feet off the tee pad, and then everything sort of opens up, bends to the right and back to the left. The fence is not out of bounds, but it is in the way, no doubt about it. And the basket tucked here off to the left requires 2 really well-placed shots.
Yeah, the basket is more approachable off to the right. The wind was kind of making that actually easier because I think it was still a tailwind here, but it was allowing us to try to work our disc over there. We would like to be on the right side of that fence to approach a little bit cleaner. This is a fast green. It doesn't really look it, but there's a lot of grass everywhere except for around this basket, so you do have to kind of be careful on that second shot. And that one does what I want it to, but again, the tailwind just smashing them down.
All right, here's Serenity. Might have to deal with that fence just a little bit for her approach. And now Sarah. A little high. She'll have a challenging approach shot from over there.
Yeah, she was lucky. It stayed on the edge, but unfortunately it is kind of making her release that a little bit early. That when you throw these and it looks like it's going into the trees, though, a lot of the times it's still kind of open unless you really get in there.
Yeah, a lot of little hollow areas.
Yes. Yeah.
Sort of blind hollow areas where you might be safe. You just need to wait and see what you got. Wow, Serenity cleared that top row of that fence by what, 2-3 inches?
Pretty close. Throwing my Jen Allen T-Bird here. Trying to just go over the edge of that hill. Unfortunately, snag that tree, guarding the basket.
Looks like about 50 feet.
Natalie kind of has the same line. You're just trying to punch that disc nice and straight. Again, let the disc do the work and go right down the hill. And it's just, if you get around that tree, which she did perfectly.
What a great skip there. Really use that fast green to her advantage, too. Looking at Serenity now. About 110 out. It's a well-placed up shot. Should be a stress-free putt for her coming up. Here's Sarah. Oh, even more stress-free, bouncing off the pole there.
Yeah, we're pretty good at layups.
Jennifer,
I actually was trying to get that little bit of a bit. I tried to get it up and let it just kind of fall down, knowing that it will slide by this one really easily. Serenity does a great job taking her time, doesn't matter the distance. She has really good focus.
Yeah, everybody in this group really sticking to routines, even on short putts. Good thing to see, especially on a windy day. Look at the chains even right there on the basket.
Yeah, Serenity might have added.
She might have added a little. She might have added a little bit to it, but I noticed them swaying before she even walked up. It was a windy morning.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't see the trees move as much though.
Yeah, it is a little bit misleading. Hole 6, par 3, 255 feet over a road that is not out of bounds, and then steeply uphill to the right to this sort of tiered area around the basket.
Yeah, this is a really tricky but beautiful green. Those rocks really just add to it. It makes it look so pretty, but you have to be careful of those rocks as well as just hitting the basket.
Yeah, one of the few holes on the course where rollaways are a distinct possibility.
Yeah, this is where it was getting really frustrated. It's like you could hear the wind so much, but you couldn't feel it. So we knew that it should be kind of like a head right to left, but we just didn't know what it would do to him. It did hold Natalie's out. She didn't know she could throw the disc that straight.
Yeah.
She was very shocked. She said that disc had never flown like that before. So it was affecting it a little bit more than she thought it was going to.
She'll be looking at 60 to 70 feet there for her second shot. You're going high.
Yeah, and I was hoping that the wind would kind of stable that up a little bit. That's a pretty flippy Mako.
Oh, wow. Look at that go through several layers there of branches. Not surprising to see Serenity go a little bit of a lower route than you. Off the rocks.
Yeah, and unfortunately that was a beautiful drive and it didn't keep her as close as she deserved. That was a really good shot. I've seen many rollaways on this in play and watching the FPO cards this week. It's a mean hole.
Sarah, that was well placed. Natalie first to go now from around 60 to 70 feet away.
Yeah, she tried to do her little ultimate shot there. She's talked about how she likes to throw the ultimate disc. And you can see that little kind of fluff fan pop up there, trying to keep it low, but still make it up the hill. And I am just laying up.
Yeah, scary approach for you.
Well, I could not see the basket at all with that little bush in front of me. And it's one that I didn't want to hit the basket and I didn't want to go over the top. So you're just trying to do the little flop over. Sarah's got a great look at birdie here and taps it right in.
right, so everybody but Serenity.
Yeah, and that one, she was going for it. There was no hesitation, just offline just a little bit. And unfortunately, this is a downhill, putt. So now she's coming back up at it and wanting to make sure she hits this high. You do not want to hit the band after she's already passed the basket once. And she's dead center, saves the bogey. That still could have rolled back if she'd have missed it. Once she got it in, she couldn't get it out.
And I was going to say, everybody but Serenity in with at least one birdie so far on the round. So we'll watch for Serenity. See if she can break through here. Moving on now to the 7th here at Token Creek. Par 3, 205 feet. Pretty short hole, really, with a pretty steep drop-off, though, just beyond the basket. This one big tree and the fence and just this whole really kind of beautiful little artistic area. Kind of the only obstacle you need to negotiate here at the 7th.
Yeah, it's a beautiful hole, but it's very, very touchy. I've seen several different approaches. The forehand is clearly a great option at 200 feet. It's a pretty soft forehand. I've seen it attack straight over the fence and between the tree, which is just right at the basket, as well as a little putter turnover. I may have even seen it ace today.
Oh.
Again, the round today just wasn't recorded, but there were some really cool shots today. I'm trying the little putter turnover shot here, and the wind just held it up and never let it down.
Yep. Look at that, just keep drifting.
Yeah, standstill putter, you don't expect it to go 260, but sometimes it does.
Serenity now looking also around that left side. I did see a few players try to go underneath the tree and off to the right if they felt comfortable with that shot.
I saw it parked that way today. It is, you have to commit to it, but it's a great approach. Keeps you from going a little too long. Natalie sneaks it around there, right by the basket.
And here you are.
I'm going hiking in the woods.
Watching out for Bigfoot.
Yeah. Again, you get back in here, but it's not quite as thick as I anticipated. So I had a little hole. Unfortunately, it was a pretty big incline up that hill.
From where you were, a lot more uphill, I think, than a camera does justice
to. It really
to.
Was, especially having to go from the knee to get under the branch. You can see it with Sarah's there. Yeah. It's a pretty steep hill, which is why they fall down that hill very quickly. And makes it a challenging putt. You throw a good drive like Serenity, you have to commit to this putt, or that happens.
Yep, from about circle's edge to about circle's edge.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of great drives laid up just because you don't want that to happen. So even though it's 200 feet, this is a tough little hole.
Natalie in from about 20 feet with yet another birdie. Natalie putting together an interesting round so far.
So spoiler alert, she was the one that aced today, that hole. Congratulations, Natalie.
The wind was completely different on day 2 than it was on day 1. Almost the opposite.
It was the exact opposite. Yeah. It was, on hole 1, it was a tailwind instead of a headwind, so exact opposite.
Your turbo putt coming in handy in situations
like
this.
It is. It's funny now that I do that, how often I love it, that I have it in the bag. Because this was definitely well above my head. And especially on the wind, putting a huge incline like that, when it's windy, is dangerous. You get the wind underneath your putter and it can fly back in your face.
Nice putt.
Everybody else taking care of business. Natalie still at the top by a stroke. Looking now at hole number 8, one of my favorite holes on the course, par 3, 321 feet. This last guardian tree just in front of the basket. This tall, skinny one right here is about 269 feet from the tee. Beat that tree, and you're settling into this area around the basket. Just a kind of a really pretty hole that goes downhill and then back up more than you think.
Yeah, this is actually a very difficult hole. I would almost say it's one of the most difficult holes. I don't know any stats on it, but it is a very low ceiling to get down there, but yet still, like you said, back up at the basket. A lot of different ways. That wasn't the one that I anticipated to go, but you can throw that little turnover down the middle and try to ride it straight all the way up the hill, or take the hyzer approach, which is a little bit more open, but it plays, I feel like, longer than 320.
Yeah,
it is really difficult to get up there into circle one. So this is a very difficult birdie to get.
I've seen probably a dozen tee shots on this hole. I've seen one get to circle's edge.
I almost didn't think it was possible, but I got it done today.
At 321 feet, that's surprising. But like I said, it drops steeply down, not too steeply, but somewhat downhill immediately after the tee pad, and then starts meandering uphill from that point, which sort of gives the result of an uphill drive in a way. Because
yeah, and there's
you just
a lot of little trees in the way. You have to hit the line and stay on that line. So something that's going to fly straight for quite a ways. Maybe understable on a hyzer.
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah, she thought she snuck around it. It was not what she was, just staring down the basket and just didn't see that little tree.
Here you are, Jennifer, with...
I think it was about 110 feet, 100 feet left.
Kind of a common place. A lot of drives ended up right about where you were, just because it's not so much that your disc dives, it's just that the ground sort of comes up to meet it.
Yeah, and this is one of the holes that if you do get a kick off the fairway, it did seem a little bit harder to save par. A lot of these, you get a kick off the fairway, par was still approachable, but this one was a little more difficult.
So Sarah in for the bogey. And everybody else cleaning up pars. Quick rounds here at Token Creek.
Yeah, it's great.
Really fast rounds.
Definitely different than what we've been playing recently, so it was nice.
Everybody on the card separated by one stroke, just like a ladder. As we move on to the last hole of this opening 9 of this 2022 Major Championship. Par 3, 282 feet. A sharp dog leg to the right. This cluster of trees, no more than about 260 off the tee, but you're ignoring those. You're trying to get sort of turned before you get there if you hope to get close to this basket.
Yeah, a lot of us are really just trying to punch it straight. Not a lot of forehands in FP40, and so we're all throwing a fading turnover shot here. And so for the most part, we're trying just to throw it straight and let it finish a little bit to the right. It doesn't really give you a great look at birdie. This is another basket that sits on the edge of the rocks. Not quite a steep incline behind the basket, but not too many putts were ran at it. And unfortunately, that happens when you really try to get that turn over there. But this is definitely a lefty hole. Again, a lot of big turnovers on this course. So Serenity's trying the same thing, punch it straight. Hers hyzers out a little bit quicker than she wanted it to, but that's just fine. Again, we're all approaching the basket and pretty much another layup hole.
Yeah, really common area over there to the left, at least looking from the tee pad down, it's to the left. That's about 100 feet or so from the basket.
Yeah, and Sarah does what we don't want to do. Again, you want to let the disc do the work. She tried to force that turnover, and so it cuts into the trees early. You really, again, want to just try to throw a nice straight shot, and then you'll have an open approach. So Sarah has to pitch out and trying to get up there to save her bogey.
Off the tree, still about circle's edge now to save bogey. Here's Serenity now. From around 110 feet over here in the shadows.
Yeah, not too bad of a drop off there, but with the wind, any drop off is a lot. I'm just trying again a nice high dropping putt just to set me right there where I can tap that in. You have to kind of be smart in these conditions and not be too aggressive. And if you are, you have to completely commit.
Pick and choose those moments to attack. Here's Sarah.
Sarah has to try to attack this just to save that bogey. Again, this was one of these holes, these few little holes back here, you get off the fairway and it was a little harder to save them.
So just a little bit of separation here as we close out this opening 9.
Great focus again by Serenity to save that par.
Don't even think about it. Just get it into the bottom of the basket.
Yep, that's why I like the turbos. No,
before the next gust of wind comes along.
Yeah, no thought process on those.
And we wrap up this opening 9 here of the 2022 United States Women's Disc Golf Championship with Natalie in the lead by 1 over Jennifer. Serenity and Sarah trying to get back to par here. Get a quick look at the way things sit here at roughly the midway point through this opening round. Everybody's still pretty tight, as you might expect in the FP40 division. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow the PDGA on all social channels, including here on YouTube, to make sure you don't miss a single second of the coverage of the 2022 USWDGC from Madison, Wisconsin.